Good evening and welcome to George Andrews Reserve in Dandenong, where it's round 13 of the Victorian Premier League, and it's the top of the table. Dandenong Thunder entertaining 7th place Hume City, and it's a big shock for the Dandenong Thunder coming off their first loss for the season, and ironically in circumstances that no one saw last week in a 2-1 to goal loss against the Southern Stars. And as for Hume City, they're going through a bit of a black patch themselves. Their form's been a bit like a yo-yo the last couple of weeks, and Luchevsky will be looking to steer a team that has qualified for the finals the last few years in towards top 5 territory into the latter half of the season. Now let's turn our attention to the lineups, and for the host, Dandenong Thunder in their traditional black and red kit. In goals, number 1 for the Dandenong Thunder, Stuart Webster. Number 3, Andrew Mullett. Number 4, back from suspension, Brian Brand. 6, Ross Thompson. 7, Liam Kearney. 11, Iqbal Jawadi. Number 13, Shane Rexepi. 14, Craig Alvin. 22, Sean McElroy. Number 19, Nathaniel Foster Bowen. And number 20, Luke Sherman. And for Hume City, in goals, number 1, Chris Oldfield. 3, Ben Harrison. 4, Izian Erdogan. 5, Stephen Pace. Number 8, Jose Guerrero. Number 11, Nick Hegarty. 15, Zoran Petreski. 17, Philip Ricobene. Number 20, Archie Tomic. 22, Howard Van Dyke. And number 23, Pablo Cardozo. And we're all nearly set to kick off here at George Andrews Reserve. As we mentioned, the Dandenong Thunder doing something they've never done for the season, and that's looking to rebound, coming off a loss last week against the Southern Stars. And as for Hume City, they're doing the same thing too. Their form has been average of late after such a bright start to the season, and they were sitting in the top 5 for a while. They're now sitting in 7th position, and they're looking to rebound themselves after a 2-1 loss against the Melbourne Knights at home last week at Epping Stadium. But as for here at George Andrews Reserve, it's Saturday night football back at Dandenong. The lights have been repaired. They've been given the official clearance by the Football Federation of Victoria, and this match was originally scheduled to kick off at 3 p.m. this afternoon. It has since changed as a result of the lights being up to mark. There were some faults, in particular with the quality of the lighting the last few years. That's been rectified by the Dandenong Thunder, and hence nighttime football is back. And we must say, it's an absolute freezing night for football here in Melbourne. But it's a strong crowd out nevertheless. Football, grassroots football, very popular in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne, particularly when the Dandenong Thunder have been at the top of their game the last few years. And it'll be Sean McElroy to kick off proceedings for the Thunder. Dandenong kicking from right to left of your screen, and wherever you are worldwide, we trust you enjoy the broadcast live on the internet. This man chasing the football, Nathaniel Foster Bowen. And it looks like he's had a visit to the hairdressers there. And that perm of his got a touch brighter during the week, or unless the lights last week at Kingston Heath Reserve were dull, there was no way that blonde hair of his was that bright. It's definitely matching his boots at the moment, and hopefully he can match it with some form as well. One of the leading goal scorers, Nathaniel Foster, with 8, and only his colleague Luke Sherman with 9 goals, and currently leading the Golden Boot in this year's competition. Oldfield. And no wind, either team not having an advantage. This will sit well for Guerrero. What a talent he's been coming on the scene this year. The first corner for the evening. We'll be going Hume City's way. It's a good ball delivered into. But sent back in by Von Dijk. But no impact there. Webster to get his first touch for the evening. Webster. A target there. McElroy. Luke Sherburn there first, but couldn't find him with the flick. The crowd building again, as we mentioned, at George Andrews Reserve. Saturday night football coming to you live from Dandenong. And the Thunder looking to rebound after their first loss for the season at the hands of the Southern Stars. What a form reversal that's been for the Stars, considering they lost on this very ground on the opening day of the season. Got smashed by the Thunder by 4-0. It's Saturday evening football rather. Back alive and kicking at George Andrews Reserve, and the Thunder will be looking to impress. As for Hume City, in fact, they're a team where their form away from home is better. That's where they've collected the bulk of their points on the road. So it all makes out to be an interesting affair. And it's turning out to be such an even season, despite the fact that currently the Thunder and the Oakley Cannons, for that matter, have a bit of a cushion beyond the rest of the competition. And speaking of the rest of the competition, we'll touch on results to date in round 13 shortly. Surely that was a nudge there from Jawadi, and it will be Rico Ben's ball. It's a good throw to Cardozo, and he was being held. And then it's referee Perry Muir with the whistle. The Merv Hughes of Victorian football. Rico Bennett, no stranger upon the big stage, particularly with the Alto Magic and also Green Gully, winning championships with those clubs respectively. Well defended there from Tomic. His second touch too precise. Hegarty. It's a good ball too. Rexepi did well to defend and forced what could have been an opening there on the inside for Harrison. And Hume City with a bright start, their second corner. And this match 5 minutes old at George Andrews Reserve, 0-0 between the Dandenong Thunder and Hume City. Played short, whipped in. Rico Bennett wouldn't get there, only Brand could. The Thunder should get out of trouble. Not for long. The clearance there. Not hitting the target. But Webster this time coming out with confidence and playing it quickly. Bowen with 2 to beat. And doing the defending well there, Von Dijk. Bowen there. Nearly thought he had 2 beaten. On the right, Von Dijk with a clean challenge. Holding play up. Touch, letting Sherburn down. Here's Alvin with some spring and making a charge too. And now he springs back into defence. Rico Bennett. Kept alive well by Guerrero. Good pressure this from the Thunder. A touch high and no advantage there Good refereeing there from Perry Muir. Alvin. And it was the right intention there. Looking for Bowen on the outside. Just a touch too heavy with that pass. Seven minutes in to this round 13 clash between the Dandenong Thunder and Hume City. It's 0-0 if you're just joining the broadcast. The Thunder on top of the table. Hume currently in 7th. And speaking of round 13, it all got off last night. And the Bentley Greens going through a bit of a form slump at the moment. Loss at home at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex to the Richmond Eagles. And what a big 3 points that is for Richmond, getting themselves temporarily out of a relegation scrap heap. And such is the evenness of this season. Remarkably, that 3 points has taken them out of a relegation battle to a potential finals berth. There's plenty of time and rounds remaining in this competition to see who will clinch finals berths and who will suffer the dreaded drop. But one thing's for certain, it won't be Dandenong. You think they're more than safe. Another good challenge there for Merdigan. It's the Thunder's first corner for the evening. And this afternoon, speaking of results, it was a stalemate between Northcote City and the Southern Stars, 0-0. But once again, it's a valuable point for both clubs. The Southern Stars, get back to the results in a moment. The Southern Stars giving him a point, which, depending on other results, make sure they will sit in equal, remarkably, 4th position. And that ball across the face of goal, Oldfield there. The threat loomed for Hume. And Northcote with that point. Only a point adrift now from the Oakley Cannons in 2nd position, sitting on 22 points. And what a season Northcote's had. But once again, Oakley with the game in hand. And what a game they've got. Big derby against South Melbourne at Lakeside Stadium tomorrow. And South Melbourne's form at home has been questionable. Oldfield there. Thought he was under pressure. Rico Bennett suggested he could have had it. Ten minutes lapsed in this first half between the Thunder. What a bullet of a pass supplied there from Ross Thompson. That's his strength. And the Thunder, after a slow start, picking their game up. Another corner in the space of minutes. Rex Seppi, I think from afar, will have the captain's armband on. Vetan Korchadi not playing in this game. And flick there, the tall timber of Brian Brand. Didn't they miss his services last week, particularly in defence, the Thunder? Oldfield hasn't been convincing with the clearances this evening. Buying some space on the inside. The Sherburn, but needs some assistance now. Once again, the right intention there from Thompson, but he's overhit it. And interestingly, Liam Kearney, speaking of the captain missing, wearing Vetan Korchadi's number 9. He's normally been seen in the number 7 shirt for most of the season. Erdogan. What a talent he is in Victorian football. Alvin. It's a back pass that, for a moment there, you thought Webster was under pressure. And obviously too early there with that contest. McElroy. Cheap free kick given away. Izzy Erdogan. And Nathaniel Foster-Bowen. What a contest that will be this evening. And he's definitely got a touch of the Mario Balotelli look. There's no doubt about it. Only a late challenge there from Rexepi, but Brown will mop up. Once again, Webster under some unnecessary pressure. You think the Thunder should have the numbers to clear and well, and not sure if that was intentional, but it found its mark. Bowen, lovely turn and dribble through Rico Burnett. Hume have the numbers back. And Alvin there, with that clearance, it was rushed, but really the perfect assist to Bowen in space. And Rico Burnett, this could be the first yellow. This will be interesting. Perry Muir will have a chat to Philip Rico Burnett. Well, there you go. You've heard it from the referee's mouth. That's the last time he'll tolerate that. And next time it will be an official warning. Thompson. And we'll give you the rated G version. Just a touch frustrated that he doesn't think he has an option up front. Rexepi, and was that late as well? And Jawadi thought so. The referee didn't. Brand. Uncharacteristically from the Thunder, they're forced back to their last line of defence in Stuart Webster. Pressure there from Petrevski. Hasn't had much of the football this evening. Playing as a forward. And as he's done all his career, Ziggy Petrevski. Jawadi. Nearly colliding there with that man with the football, Von Dijk. That will be a Hume City throw to the dismay there. Luke Sherman, he needs to be careful with the descent. And another back pass, which nearly came back to haunt Hume City, and in particular Chris Oldfield, and he's done well to recover there. What about the pace there from Nathaniel Foster-Bowen? Bang. Didn't think he'd get to that, but he certainly put his counterpart there, Chris Oldfield, under the mark and under the pump. A quarter of an hour elapsed in this contest. It's 0-0 if you're just joining our broadcast between Hume City and the Dandenong Thunder. Dandenong Thunder playing at home and looking to rebound after their first loss for the season against the Southern Stars. Hume City also looking for a victory. And both teams' form of late has been up and down, and we'll get back to that in a moment. But once again, the pace from Bowen really troubling Erdogan, and he nearly got through three there. And Thompson, that was late on Tomic. Archie Tomic there in a spot of bother. He will need some medical attention. And will this force Luchesevsky's hand at an early substitution? Only time will tell. But meanwhile, whilst we have a break in this game, just to recap scores thus far in round 13 of the Victorian Premier League. Last night, the Bentley Greens losing at home to the Richmond Eagles, another team that seemed to pick up more points away than from home, the Richmond Eagles. And this afternoon, it was a stalemate, 0-0 between Northcote City and the Southern Stars. And obviously, this game underway, 0-0 between the Dandenong Thunder and Hume City, just over 15 minutes played. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll see 3 games round off round 13. Good sportsmanship there from the Thunder as play resumes. And it's the Melbourne Knights up against a resurgent Moreland Zebras, who looked certainly for relegation a few weeks ago, and they've been undefeated themselves the last couple of weeks. And some big signings too, in particular Grant Brebner coming to the club midweek, and he'll be debuting for the Moreland Zebras tomorrow. We wish him all the best in his ventures in the Victorian Premier League. And it's another 6-pointer, particularly for Heidelberg United. They've had some big signings too, and they're up against Green Gully, and history suggests both of these teams love to score goals. Oldfield off his line, and an open goal looms. And what about that run there from McElroy? Thought he penetrated the last line of the Hume City defence, but here's another opening here for Guerrero, and Alvin needs to be careful. This will be interesting. The question was he last man? From here, it didn't look like it. It looked like Mullet was last man or last offender, and that's the correct decision. Yellow card, but I tell you what, Andrew Mullet there, at the end of the day, saved Craig Alvin from an early shower. It's a fine line in that. And the pace, once again, at either end of the pitch, really troubling both teams. Nathaniel Foster-Bowen causing havoc, in particular for Izzy and Erdogan. And meanwhile, you saw there, Jose Guerrero, he's has been an impact player when coming on as a substitute for Hume City in previous weeks, really troubling Craig Alvin there. And he took the risk there, Craig Alvin, and made sure it's a premeditated challenge just outside the edge of the box. And it's certainly denied a goal-scoring opportunity, and luckily for Craig Alvin, there was a last offender there in Andrew Mullet. But this man with the football, Zoran Ziggy Petrevski, this is his range. And we've seen it plenty of times over the years. Petrevski, can he give Hume the lead? Bending ball. Brand, boy, that will hurt. That was struck with power. And it will be a thunder ball, and is. And just to recap, those games tomorrow kicking off, concluding round 13 of the Victorian Premier League. We mentioned the Melbourne Knights up against the Moreland Zebras. The Melbourne Knights going through a bit of a renaissance period, with Andrew Stabermarth at the helm, replacing Paul Mugditch. And Heidelberg United up against the reigning champions Green Gully. And history suggests once these teams play, it's a goal fest. Will history repeat itself tomorrow? And then it's the big derby, a mouth-watering clash between South Melbourne, who just got over the line last week against Heidelberg, up against the second place Oakley Cannons. And depending on the result here this evening at George Andrews Reserve, there'll be plenty to play for both teams. Alvin, that's disappeared into no man's land. New ball will be on call, and here it comes. 21 minutes in this first half. Hume City on the attack with the throw. It's 0-0. Petrevski Well defended there. In particular, Jawadi. Pace with the lunge. Speak of pace, a few former Preston Lions players in this squad. Petreski, Stephen Pace, and also Izzy Nerdigan immediately come to mind. And even Luchesevsky managing Hume City. Just another player coming from Preston, and once again a heavy hit pass, but it was the right intention. Ben Harrison there. He must have done something there to anger the home fans, just giving him a few boos when he had the football. Nudge there from Pace. Well spotted from referee Perry Muir. One of the state's most experienced referees at the helm of this contest this evening, Perry Muir. Approaching the 25th minute mark. It's 0-0. Can the Thunder break this deadlock? They have possession. Jawadi. Thompson buys some space. Can he hit a target? Tall Timber comes in from Brown, an open goal. And tell you what about the lunge there from Bowen? Didn't think he'd make up the ground there on the goalkeeper Chris Oldfield, but he can certainly leap. And once again, he pressured Hume City, and temporarily their goal was unguarded. And the flag stays down this time for Bowen, and Oldfield, you think this will be an early shower. Well, that's interesting. Oldfield was certainly the last man, and Bowen was in a goal-scoring position. He was just about to weave his way around Chris Oldfield, and that is a huge, huge sigh of relief for Hume City because, well, from up here, that card should have instantly been red. Chris Oldfield will be a relieved man that he will be continuing this game on the pitch. And more so, even more relieved that from the naked eye, the incident occurred just outside the box. And this man, unfortunately, he's down. Hopefully, he'll be okay to resume the game. Nathaniel Foster Bowen is causing more of a stir than the carbon tax in the press. He is completely troubling this Hume City defence. And good to see that our Mario Balotelli lookalike is back up on 2 feet. He certainly is a talent, but Thompson can score, and bit of an anticlimax there. You expect better from a man that hits the target 9 times out of 10. And good to see Nathaniel Foster Bowen back out on the pitch. And Chris Oldfield, well, we don't have the legacy or benefit of a replay, but from the naked eye, he stuck his leg out, and it was a premeditated foul. Can understand if the collision was incidental, but it certainly looked premeditated, and it certainly looked like he was the last man. Well, maybe that cancels itself out. Craig Alvin nearly was the last man in a previous incident. And both teams, in hindsight, lucky to have 11 men on the pitch. Webster, once again, delivered a ball under the pump and got himself out of trouble. And correct call from the assistant. Not often does he get it wrong, Nathaniel Foster-Bowen. This time, he was a metre or two ahead of Isian Erdogan's mark. Archie Tomic there, having a chat with Perry Muir. And both teams have really been struggling for possession, particularly in midfield, holding the football. It's been a tussle, but this man has caused the trouble, Bowen. And he's through Erdogan, and he should be through the defences of Oldfield. He's not. And that would have capped off a beautiful piece of play there for Nathaniel Foster-Bowen. His pace is electrifying there on the left flank. And we'll see it again. Isian Erdogan. Isian Erdogan, for such an experienced and quality defender he is, Nathaniel Foster-Bowen is causing him a headache or two, and it's going to take more than a Panadol to relieve it. McElroy on the inside. The Thunder with a bit of a roll the last 10 minutes, but with nothing to show for it. On the scoreboard, Thompson will have some space to mop up. And just over 15 minutes remaining in this first half. And it started off as a very even contest. The Thunder with the upper hand, as we mentioned, the last 10 minutes, but there's nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Can Hume conjure something generally against the run of play? And that was a vital touch from Erdogan. And correct call there from Perry Muir. No advantage given there from Craig Alvin. It looked like a scene out of WrestleMania 30. He was definitely held back there from his opponent, Cardozo. McElroy. Chawadi. The Thunder congested in midfield. It's been Hume's strength in numbers. And now, once again, Cardozo's pace, troubling Mullet. And, well, looked like a 50-50 one, but it's gone Hume's way. And Luchesevski is not happy with the call. And he better get back in his own technical area. He's outside the line. Cardozo has trouble Mullet wide. Lovely touch from Rico Bennett. And this time Alvin taking no risks. Quarter of an hour remaining in this first half. 0-0 between the Dandenong Thunder and Hume City. Bowen Foster, or rather Nathaniel Foster-Bowen, nearly once again getting the upper hand on Isian Erdogan. Bran, a welcome addition back in the starting 11. He came in for Vetan Kochari, the captain, who succumbed to injury. Alvin. Lovely flick, and there's a chance here for the opener. And what about the flick there from Sean McElroy? It was a great ball supplied in, and as we'll see on the replay, and he's found that player, Waddy McElroy. Lovely touch there to Luke Sherman, and this time there wasn't much there that Chris Oldfield could do about that. And the Thunder have had the upper hand for the last 15 minutes, and they've been rewarded with their effort. And it's Luke Sherman who opens up the goal-scoring account for the evening. And after half hour played here in this first half, it's the Dandenong Thunder 1, Hume City 0. What about the ball supplied there from Craig Alvin? Beautiful delivery, and the defending there from Hume will be questioned. No one marking McElroy there. And even better was the first touch from McElroy. Lovely touch on the volley there to cut it on the inside to Sherbin. And Sherbin did what any good forward does, and that's finish. Tomic. No relation to Bernard. Rico Bennett. Lovely turn there from Cardozo. Can Hume find an equaliser within a short space of time? Harrison. Hegarty whips it in. Speaking of targets, a chance here for Hume, and what about that touch there from Alvin? Just instinctively flicked that out for a corner when you thought Cardozo was going to have a clear shot on goal from just inside 6 yards. Vital touch there from Craig Alvin. Corner for Hume City. McElroy was just assisting in providing the Thunder the opener, and now proving a worthwhile hand there, defending on the near post. Chris Taylor, for one of the first times this evening, coming out of his dugout. He'll be a happy man today, but will only be relieved should the Thunder collect maximum points. Pace is looking for the target. Thompson clearing down the line, but Hume with only 3 numbers in their half. And Nathaniel Foster-Bowen had plenty to do there. Petreski. Did they get a touch of his hand? Thunder crowd certainly thought so. Rexepi has been quiet by his standards in the first half. Well, frustration creeping in there from Stephen Pace. And although it's a lack of discipline, may have had a case there. Looked like a 50-50 incident once again, but referee Perry Muir saw it differently. Drilled in, and what about that for a ball supplied there from Thompson? It's certainly his strength up against his old club. Boy, that was hit with precision. Too hot to handle there for even Nathaniel Foster-Bowen. Just under 10 minutes remaining in this first half. The Thunder with the lead, leading by a goal to nil. He's joining our broadcast as Hume City with the football. The away team in the white kit, making an attack up front. And, well, got to say, that looked like a handball from up here off Rexepi. And Hume City, in this instance, can feel aggrieved in that instance. Nick Hegarty there. He's infuriated. Well, once again, it's easy from up here. It did look like a handball off Rexepi. And both teams relieved. Once again, it's fair to say both teams really are lucky to have 11 men on the pitch to date. Flicked on. Cleared by Brand. Thompson, his assists have been bullet-like, and this time nearly found an opening there for Nathaniel Foster-Bowen again. Lovely overlap there from McElroy, and this time the assistant pulling up the foul on Erdogan. Oldfield, speaking of having 11 men on the pitch, that man is the luckiest of all to be on the pitch. An infringement just over 20 minutes ago on Nathaniel Foster-Bowen. Von Dijk with the free kick. Erdogan had to go in. Nothing presenting itself wide. It was a good flick. A chance here for Podreski. Lays it off to pace. Good defending there. And combining with Thompson. And Ziggy Podreski opted to flick it on. Maybe, just maybe, could have tried to finish on the turn. He's got the talent to do so. Here he is at the football yet again. Will Hume City keep it alive? Unfortunately, they can't. You know something's going to happen every time that man has the football, Zoran Petrevski. And we certainly will have a few minutes of stoppage time, particularly with some medical treatment received a few players in this first half. The Thunder not messing with time. Will this hold up? Thompson really hits his passes. He did well to keep that alive there, Kearney. That had a throw written all over it. Tell you what, speaking of turning back the clock, every time Ross Thompson strikes that football, it reminds me of big John Markovski, absolutely powerful with his strikes and passes. Jawadi did well to keep it alive. McElroy assisted in one goal, however this time doesn't have a Sherburn or Bowen there to assist. Oldfield. But good lunge there from Melbourne. Great defending all round. Rexepi. And now some space, a rare piece of space for the Thunder in midfield. McElroy. Kearney came from nowhere there, trying to hit that cross there on the back post. Well defended. And as we'll see, McElroy thought that ball was going to go out, bent it in. And Kearney, his speed, in particular he and Bowen, causing problems for the Hume City defence. And credit there to Kearney. What looked like a stock standard clearance for Hume City has now resulted into a corner, courtesy of his pressure. Brown there, the target on the back post. And it had the crowd full there for a moment. And he measured it well there, Oldfield, but you wouldn't want to get it any closer. That ball's sailing over the bar, but only millimetres. Rexepi. He wanted Brand, but it's spilled. And here's Guerrero. Firing it in. Wicked deflection. And Harrison there was nearly the recipient. Once again, a big burst pace. Smashed it home. It copped a wicked deflection, unfortunately for Hume, off Harrison's boot. It will be Webster's kick. Haven't we seen some powerful strikes this first half? In particular, Guerrero and also Ross Thompson. Petreski knew exactly who he wanted there wide. And a delicate touch, just not finding its mark. Just deciding to milking the clock. Stuart Webster. And why not? The Thunder in the box seat with the slenderest of advantages, a goal to nil. If you're just joining our broadcast, wherever you are worldwide, there's a heat wave in Melbourne. It's only 3 degrees. A crisp winter's evening. Well, there you go. I've been told it's 5 degrees. I'll say 3 plus GST. That rounds it up to 5. And the carbon tax. That makes it 5. But it is absolutely freezing, to say the least. And a late foul. Wingers causing problems for Mullet this evening. Rico Burnett. Good marking this from the Thunder. Struggling to find a target. Petrovsky. Well read there from Rexepi. Giving nothing there. It's a good error. McElroy. Chawadi infringed. Cardozo just needs to calm his temperament. We're only a minute away from completing regular time in this contest. We will have a few minutes of stoppage time, unless referee Perry Muir sees otherwise. And the Thunder looking to double their lead in the latter stages of this first half. Or can Hume rebound on the counter? And Nick Hegarty there going down. And it looked like a collision. And even the replay suggested that. Nick Hegarty has come off worse for wear. Hume. The ball deep in the Thunder box. The Thunder not out of trouble yet. Brand could have mop up. And, well, there's a tale of blunders there. But eventually, the Thunder get themselves out of trouble for the sole fact there's just simply no pressure applied. Deep in the 6-yard box there from Hume. A few men up front would have made life interesting there. Some blunders from Brand and also Webster in particular, but Bowen there starting his run a touch early. Correct call there from the assistant. Oldfield. Not sure who his target was there, but his clearances are let him down. And on that note, half-time is signalled in what has been a very even contest to date, particularly in the first half hour, but it was all the Dandenong Thunder in the last 15 minutes, and they were rewarded with their possession, courtesy of Luke Sherburn with the opener on the half-hour mark, and that's the difference to date. It's the Dandenong Thunder leading Hume City by a goal to nil. Do join us in over 10 minutes' time, and we'll be back here live from George Andrews Reserve with all the action from the second half. Welcome back to George Andrews Reserve for this second half between the top of the table, Dandenong Thunder, and 7th place, Hume City. And as this second half commences, it's the hosts, the Dandenong Thunder, leading this contest by a goal to nil, courtesy of that man in Canberra, number 20, Luke Sherman, with a strike on the half-hour mark. And it all started courtesy of a set piece. And it was a beautiful ball delivered in from Craig Alvin, the defender, flicked on the half volley from Sean McElroy, and brilliantly slotted home from Luke Sherman, and that has gifted the Dandenong Thunder the lead. What has generally been an even contest, but the Thunder did exert their authority in the final 10 to 15 minutes of the first half, and we're underway in this second half. And the Thunder with the football. And they're kicking from left to right of your screen. Stephen Pace. And that was surely late there from Thompson. Up against his old club. Played quickly to Cardozo. Brand has been solid for the Thunder. Well done, Rexepi, to deny the corner. We've just been advised by our producer, apologies for the clarity and quality of the vision that you are streaming live. Reason being, it's the fog. Simple as that. Nothing to do with the lens, but the fog is setting in. Jawadi. He buys some space. Here's Kearney. Bowen, out-muscled. A rare win this time for Isian Erdogan when he collects the free kick in the process. Oldfield, flicked on by Petreski. Von Dijk. Well read by Brand, and accidental clash there between Brand and Von Dijk, and Brand tried to clear, and in the process, looks like he sprained his ankle. I know Dr. Nick Riviera, but I'm sure some medical attention will come out to Brand. Thunder with their first corner for the half. Cleared by Tomic. Kearney will send it back in. Wants the tall timber there. Rexepi was one of them, and also McElroy on the back post. And they're going down like 9 pins at the moment. First it was Brand, and now Cardozo's down. And hopefully he's okay. He'll receive some medical treatment too. Richie Cardozo, he's holding his ankle as well. Well, Brian Brand got up in one piece. Hopefully he can as well, but this does look more severe. And this second half only 5 minutes old. And Cardozo, this looks like bad news for Hume City. And unfortunately for he, it's agony written all over his face. This could force Luchesevski's hand into an early substitution. And meanwhile, to await the play to resume. Just to recap, results from round 13 of the Victorian Premier League. Last night, the Bentley Greens losing at home to the Richmond Eagles. A valuable 3 points for the Eagles, winning that game by a goal to nil, and this afternoon it was 0-0 between the Southern Stars and Northcote City. If you're just joining our broadcast now, between the Dandenong Thunder and Hume City, it's the Thunder at home, playing in their home kit, red and black, leading Hume City by a goal to nil. He's in Erdogan, frustrated with the call again. And Perry Muir could be having a chat there with Erdogan with that descent. And meanwhile, Cardozo still down behind play. He's receiving some medical treatment. Hume temporarily down to 10 men. Webster has had a few of those balls delivered to him late, but in every occasion cleared. Some niggling there. Mitch, unlucky not to collect a free kick. Harrison. Dangerous ball. Once again, Alvin had to clear it and deal with it. Lurking with Ziggy Petrevski. And Ziggy Petrevski, not wanting to be critical of the refereeing, but it did look like a corner there from Hume off the naked eye. And once again, just having a chat to Perry Muir. McElroy has been solid this evening. Goal scorer Sherman with the throw, intercepted by Pace. Will need to be precise for Xepi with the captain's armband on in the absence of Vetan Kochari. Guerrero. Xepi. Good ball into space too. Thompson. And that was really smart refereeing there from Perry Muir. No advantage given there to Thompson. Just clipped there high. Referee let it go the first instance, but there was no advantage there. Bowen cutting it into space. Oldfield, this will be a difficult ball to handle. And the surface very uneven on that part of the pitch. Bounces in to read Petrevski. Brand, hasn't he done that so effectively this evening? He screened everything that's come his way. And Hume looks sharp there on the counter. They have another corner. This second half, 10 minutes old. Dandenong Thunder leading Hume City by a goal to nil. Sent back in again. And maybe, is it a case of third time lucky for Hume City? Whipped in again. Pace there. Some temporary danger there, but they're not at trouble yet. And a bit more angled to the left there. And that would have posed some problems there for Webster. We'll see that chip there from Tomic. It's the right intent there. Webster was off his line. Just the accuracy letting Tomic down. Webster, one of the best in the business in Victorian football. Alvin. And that got the outer crowd fired. I'm not sure what was in it from here, but it certainly sparked a reaction from what is a very solid crowd on a freezing winter's night in Melbourne. Whipped in by Hegarty. Hasn't this man covered plenty of territory? Luke Sherburn. Goal scorer. Turning defender, and we'll see Sherburn come to the rescue here for the Thunder. Deep in his half. But salvaged Hume a throw. Rexepi. And I'm sure someone in the crowd's just praying that ball hasn't hit their windscreen. Hegarty. Not muscled. Rexepi has really come to light this half. And we spoke about Chris Oldfield being lucky to stay on the pitch. Well, the captain's had a stroke of luck too. Shane Rexepi could have easily been sent off in the first half. Webster. Erdogan. Thompson laying it on the floor. No one there, however, for Dandenong's sake. Hegarty. Rexepi had to be careful there. And now, Hume with some space on the left. Cutting it back in, Webster. Great save under pressure there. One of the rare times this half where you felt Hume had a really good chance of scoring. Great run there from Harrison on the left. And the forwards have really posed problems for the defenders in this game, for both teams. Jawadi. Lovely turn. How did he keep that alive? Made that look simple, Jawadi. Alvin. Hume have certainly lifted a notch. The Thunder really having to earn every possession. Approaching the 60th minute mark of this contest. It's 1-0 to the Dandenong Thunder. Hume with just over half an hour to resurrect a point, or will it be a come from behind victory? And as for the Thunder, you think another goal will put this contest out of Hume's reach. And now, bursting on the left there. It was a good ball whipped in. 2 from Kearney. Put Oldfield under some pressure there on the back post. His pace again, troubling the Hume defence. Brand. And it's a raffle between he and Sherburn, you feel, for man of the match honours thus far. And Jawadi knew he gave away the free kick even before the whistle was blown. A chance here from long range, but that shouldn't trouble Webster and won't. Not enough oomph on that from Von Dijk. Erden has had the upper hand on Nathaniel Foster Bowen this half. He certainly posed problems for the Hume defence in the first. Petrevsky. And the ball deep in Dandenong's half, a more frequent occurrence for Hume this half. Guerrero has space on the inside, not opted for there from Harrison. Von Dijk. Slow but patient build up this from Hume. Petrevsky. And that would have been interesting had there been a first touch there from Hegarty. Referee Perry Muir, without hesitation, saying it's a Dandenong throw. Luchescu's not happy. Well, take that back. It's a free kick. Ball did go out initially. Over touch. Somehow kept alive. There by Sherman. Hegarty doing what all good wingers do. Defend when it's needed. Thompson. The 1-2. Nice touch and build up this from the Thunder. Rico Bene. Cut off a Thunder attack. Rexepi instinctively there. And now Bowen at that vital moment slipped. But it all started there with Rexepi. Knew his opponent, wanted to get around him on the right, stuck his leg out, got that football back for the Thunder. Makes me out of nothing. Just over half hour left in this contest. Dandenong Thunder leading Hume City by a goal to nil. Now, Erdogan. Now, the assistant. For me, it's one of the grey areas in the laws of the game. The assistant knew that McElroy was off the second that pass was laid, but he really had to wait until he made an attempt to play at it for the flag to go up. FIFA's finally introduced goal line technology, and it would be a welcome leap, particularly on my behalf, if they could fix up what is a delay in that element of the laws of the game. Brand has won everything in the air, and that's exactly what they missed last week, the Thunder. Seppi coordinating that with Webster. Van Dijk and Bowen stays onside, but too many opponents to wrestle with there. Jawadi. Here's Thompson. And was well screened there from Harrison, and he's got some pace on him too. It's a good ball from Harrison, and a great tackle there from Melbourne. Dandenong not out of trouble yet. Well, that was a great tackle there from Melbourne. And Tomic smacking into Jawadi. And this game beginning to open up. 25 minutes remaining. The Thunder really looking to put a nail in Hume City's coffin. You feel the second will have this game out of reach for Hume City. And it really is beginning to open up. It was such a tussle in the first half for possession in midfield. And it's beginning to open up now. End-to-end football. And this time, it's at Webster's end. It's 1-0 to the Thunder. Just under 25 minutes remaining. Just a reminder, you can check all the latest news and results on the Football Federation of Victoria Facebook and Twitter sites. Harrison does keep it alive. And both teams just temporarily stopping there, looking for a whistle. It didn't happen. Nudge there from Erdogan. And a reminder too that you can see all the highlights from this game on the Football Federation of Victoria's website from Tuesday morning. And if you are living in Melbourne, do make sure you watch Extra Time. You can see the best of all the live action from the men's and women's Premier League. 2 games of the week and they'll be screened 7:30 Tuesday nights. If you do have analogue TV, it's Channel 31 for you, or Channel 44 digital. Bran, he's been great for the Thunder this evening. He and Sherburn in particular. Pace. That's been a good challenge, or duel rather, between Hegarty and Rexepi. And that battle for possession continues. Jawadi this time's through, and the pace of Bowen. And Bowen, well, thought he got a nudge there. But from where I saw it, I thought he tripped. Kearney. And such as his talent, it took to wrangle that football off him. Thompson. On a play there for Sherburn. And that subsequent shot, it won't trouble Oldfield. And Oldfield, one of the blights of his game has been his clearances this evening. Mark Leach coming on as a substitute, getting one of his first touches. It looks like Cardozo has succumbed to injury and has been taken off. Here's Guerrero. No stranger to scoring himself. Sent in from Rico Bennett. Petrevsky there. Just can't beat the tall timber in Brand. What an asset he is. So mobile, so tall, and pace. This, you think, could be a yellow. Well, it was high. And apologies once again for the fog. It really is settling on this pitch. And Stephen Pace is a relieved man. That could have been an official caution. Oldfield. Brand. A touch early. Luckily for his sake, there was no infringement there on Petrevsky. Chris Taylor getting his first touch for the evening there too. Harrison. And Hume have just under 20 minutes to salvage something from this game. Trailing by a goal to nil against the Dandenong Thunder, who are looking to rebound after their first loss, and it came as a surprise too. And it really is a case of mission impossible to stay undefeated in this league, but very few expected the Thunder to concede their first loss against the Southern Stars last week, and they're looking to rebound. And Oldfield there, under some pressure, got the job done. Once again, as we wait for a football to find its way back on the pitch. It's 1-0 to the Thunder. Exactly 20 minutes left in this contest. And the Thunder looking to preserve a 4-point cushion at the top of the table should the Oakley Cannons defeat South Melbourne away tomorrow, should they lose. And this scoreline stay the way it is, the Thunder will extend their lead at the top of the table. And surely a case there. And it looks like WrestleMania 13 out there, not like a game of football. And say no more. Both teams' discipline has really, really come undone this second half. And don't be surprised, there's a few yellow cards issued. Now, we're going to see some cards issued. One in particular, Luke Sherman. And Luke Sherman in the book. And Chris Taylor and Luciszewski having a few words. And he needs to be careful. And Perry Muir there, coming in the thick of things, Luciszewski and Chris Taylor. And now, both teams really need to be cautioned here, because the way this is going, it looks like the FFE coffers are going to be nice and full after this round's complete. Some completely unwarranted and undisciplined behaviour from both managers and also both clubs. And I think both clubs need to be reminded there is a code of conduct in place, and it's there for a reason. At any level of the game. And the Dandenong Thunder really need to be careful here. The supporters are getting involved in this game for no reason. And it's unfortunate to see, because history suggests that fines or even a possible deduction of points could be on the cards. We've seen it before. And to be quite frank, the game of football doesn't deserve it. And behaviour starts from the top, and Luciszewski and Chris Taylor just need to calm their tempers, coupled with the players and the crowd. And credit to referee Perry Muir. He's been cool, calm and collected in this situation. And in the meantime, a substitution's been made. Fondike off, and Chick coming on for Hume, David Chick. Alvin. Guerrero. Petrevsky. Cleared by Jawadi. Here's Chick, one of his first touches. Vickle Burnett. And good to see a sense of order restored, in particular from referee Muir. Chick whipping it in. Leach there, did well. Nothing there presenting itself in the box from that Hegarty cross. There's a good build-up from Hume. The ball whipped in there from Hegarty, and as we'll see, just couldn't find a target in the 6-yard box. And with the injuries, even though we do have 15 minutes remaining, with the injuries, coupled with the earlier fracas, there surely will be at least 4 to 5 minutes of additional play. Oldfield clearing. Rexepi. And this time, Bowen. Correct call from the assistant. From here, looked a good metre or two ahead of the mark. Petreski wanted it, couldn't get there. Brand has been in everything. So too this man, Jawadi. And Bowen again, to his frustration. Offside in the space of 30 seconds again. Leach. Cleared by Alvin. And that one nearly found the moon. That's how high the clearance was. Pace. Leach. In fact, it was Hegarty to Leach. But once again, it's been the story of Hume's half. Nice build-up, just not much presenting itself in the box there to finish. Kearney. Being sharked by a pool of Hume players. Circled around that. And does enough to retain possession. McElroy, this time offside. And frustration creeping in with the Thunder forwards. McElroy and also Bowen. As the Thunder look like they'll be making, in fact, Hume, another substitution. Barnes, Jared Barnes. Maybe he'll be coming on. The question is, who'll be coming off? Rexepi nearly had it covered. He's had a good second half there, Nick Hegarty. So too's that man. Not only a second half, but a great game of football. Brand, what an impact he's had since returning from suspension. Chick and Hume need to do better with their finishes, and they nearly did on that occasion. That was a great crack there from 20 yards. Jose Guerrero. And that was going to find the target too. And apologies about the replay. Look like we're looking at World War II footage with this fog. Such is the clarity of it. Another challenge there between Chick and Sherburn. Petreski searching there for a teammate to string a pass. Not much presenting itself up front for Hume. McElroy. And the sting between players and management and supporters. And it's just dropped a notch. Unfortunately, we look set for a fitting finale. And hopefully, for football's sake, it's still the case. The free kicks taken quickly, and a chance here for the Thunder to get that second goal, and you think secure all 3 points. And this time it's the post that has denied the Thunder. We'll see that free kick taken quickly, and McElroy thought he did enough to get past the defences of Oldfield, but not enough to deny, or to be beaten rather, by the post. To the rescue for Hume. Dandenong Thunder looking for that nail in Hume City's coffin. And Ben Harrison coming off. And coming on, Barnes. Thunder with the corner. Bran. McElroy. And did he foul? Again, he did. Now, I'm not sure what the Thunder supporters are upset about there. Obvious foul. I think easy telltale sign. McElroy had his hands up instantly. Exactly 7 minutes of normal time remaining in this contest, but we'll have, you think, another good 4 to 5 minutes of stoppage time. And completely outmuscled there by Thompson. Was good out, and the Thunder. And the flag up, and Bowen, frustrated and is, and Rico Burnett needs, and Bowen for that matter, need to be careful. And in defence there to Bowen, it was a fine line. Rexepi has been impressive. Was it a handball? Referee waves play on. Chick. Well screened there by Kearney. And he was quieted by his standards last week, but certainly not this week. That fresh air shot will gift the Thunder a great chance on the counter. Sherbin. This time, Bowen's onside. Sherbin lays it off. Struck down there by Rico Burnett. The subsequent shot from McElroy. And initially, Bowen was in an onside position. He went off there for a moment when when Sherbin wanted to lay it off to him, but he couldn't. He was forced to use McElroy. And luckily for Hume, Rico Burnett had him covered. This time, Albin. Clearing for a corner, and we're going to get that climax to this game that we wanted. 3 points certainly not a certainty for Dandenong, and there's a good 10 minutes left. 5 normal, plus you'd say 5 stoppage. Hume City with a corner. Hegarty. And aren't the white shirts screaming in the box? It's taken low. And the advantage is given. And referee Perry Muir. Now I'm not sure if we got that on camera, but referee Perry Muir has done one of the best somersaults you'll ever see. And you're nearly to Guernsey for the Australian Olympic team at London 2012. That was brilliant. Petrevsky. Easy pickings there for Webster. And unfortunately for Perry Muir, I'll tell you what, one of the lighter sides of football you'll see. Accidentally tripped, and it was the most perfect somersault. And if you're an Olympic judge, you'd easily give that a 10. Going for gold at London 2012 in the gymnastics, Perry Muir. And now the Thunder bringing on a substitute, Hamlet Armenian. Fresh set of legs coming on with just under 10 minutes remaining. And it's Sean McElroy off. He's had a serviceable game for the Thunder. Webster. Brand can use Webster again, and he'll need to clear this first time. And Brand knew that he put his goalkeeper under no necessary pressure. We've got just under 4 minutes normal time. But once again, you'd say at least 4 to 5 stoppage, meaning there's at least 9 to 10 minutes for Hume to conjure an equaliser, or for the Thunder to extend their lead. Rico Bene. Well tracked there by Armenian. Put some pressure and get that back. Put some pressure on Rico Bene's delivery inside the box, but in the meantime, Alvin's been fouled. And it certainly is all happening here at George Andrews Reserve. A very spiteful contest, particularly in this second half. Tomic. Here's Jawadi. Sherbin. And he ummed and ahed there whether to flick it onto Bowen or have a crack. He was undecided, and that translated in the finishing. Bowen, some niggling there between he and Pace, and the assistant in front of it. Bowen nearly had it. Vital interception from Pace. He's not out of trouble yet. And he's an exceptional talent, Nathaniel Foster Bowen. And it would not surprise me one bit if we see him playing in the National League, or who knows, clubs abroad. He is a wealth of talent. Oldfield will restart. And he'll need to start quickly. Just about to approach stoppage time, but there'll be plenty of it. Brand, man of the match for me, Brian Brand. Very impressive in his comeback. Has absolutely screened everything that's come his way, but the job's not done yet. Sent in by Hume, and that nearly tricked Webster. Great dummy there from Guerrero, and we'll see that ball whipped in. And Webster there was not fooled, but easily could have been. Lovely flick. Barnes. And once again, a bit of spite creeping in. It's got the crowd fired up on the outer flank. Lovely charge down. Pressure there from Armenian. Been good at that since coming on. Unfortunately there for Guerrero. Wanted that man chick on the inside. Right intention. But the Thunder can hit on the counter. Pace. And he has been there when it's mattered the last 5 minutes in particular. That challenge there with Sherbin, and a previous one with Bowen. Got his side out of a sticky situation on several occasions this half. Nice turn from Sherbin. Here's Rexepi. Bowen, lovely flick, nothing there on the inside. Now he can finish, Thompson, from this range. And once again, no advantage there. And Thompson can finish from this range. And Oldfield will really need to get his wall organised. And as we wait for that, just to recap, round 13 scores to date thus far. Bentley losing at home by a goal to nil to Richmond, and this afternoon Northcote and the Southern Stars in a 0-0 game. And at this moment, the Thunder only 5 minutes away from a victory, but time will tell. Sherburn, he struck the wall doing its job. Dandenong Thunder leading Hume by a goal to nil, and we're into stoppage time. And tomorrow it's the Melbourne Knights and the Moreland Zebras. That's a 6-pointer already. Heidelberg United in what is simply a must-win game against Green Gully if they're to avoid relegation. And the big derby, South Melbourne Oakley Cannons. And speaking of South Melbourne at Lakeside Stadium, that's where our cameras will be next week. It's the big game between South Melbourne and Green Gully. And you can catch all the action from round 14 of the Premier League from 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, wherever you're watching worldwide. And Bowen through one, pace. And referee Perry Muir thought that was the correct call there. Both teams niggling each other, and in the meantime, pace will get done for dissent. It was the correct call there for Perry Muir. Thought there was niggling both ways there between Bowen and pace. He let it go, and for some reason, frustration got the better of Stephen Pace. Sherburn. And Stephen Pace, he's hot-tempered at the moment. This is valuable time for Hume as a result of frustration creeping into their game. And more time for the Thunder to milk the clock in stoppage time. Flicked in. Bowen will give it there to Armenian, who couldn't connect but did it get a touch. The referee Perry Muir says yes. And more time for the Thunder retaining their ball, or that ball rather, deep in Hume's half. Not the result that Hume City are looking for. McElroy, in fact, take that back, correction. It's Kearney. McElroy, about to say McElroy was substituted only minutes ago. With Armenian coming on. Bowen, what a tussle that's been with he and Erdogan. Definitely won the battle in the first half. It's been a far even contest in the second between those two. Honours certainly shared. And you hear the cries of full time to be signalled. By my watch, I'd expect another 1 to 2 minutes. Chick. And now, Armenian is onside. Vital tackle there from Pace. He got the football first. And that time, that was some quality defending there from Stephen Pace. Made plenty of ground. Pardon the pun. Showed his pace. Good header. Will Hume City have a final say and salvage a late point? Whipped in. A good ball there. It's not out of trouble yet. And what about that? That shot firing in from Archie Tomic. And we'll see on the replay, Webster couldn't hold it first time. Archie Tomic there. You won't get a better chance. That was, in fact, Hume City's best chance in this second half, and they haven't been able to finish it. And you think this will be enough for the Thunder. Webster will need to hurry up. He's being cautioned. And on that note, the Dandenong Thunder have won and rebounded from last week's defeat against the Southern Stars, triumphant over Hume City in what has been a spiteful contest by a goal to nil. And a goal at the half-hour mark by Luke Sherburn was the difference, and the Dandenong Thunder extend their points cushion at the top of the table, and depending on other results, in particular against South Melbourne and Oakley, could retain a 7-point buffer on top of the Victorian Premier League. But from here at George Andrews Reserve, it's the Dandenong Thunder coming back with a thunder and registering a victory after last week's inaugural defeat of the season, and they have all 3 points in the bank against Hume City. But from me, Simon McCuskey, it's good night. We trust you've enjoyed the coverage wherever you've watched worldwide, and we'll see you next week for the big one between South Melbourne and Green Gully. You can watch all the action from next Sunday from 5 p.m. Until then, good night.